forcing the technology to your customer would not help. I've seen like so many business going all in when it comes to technology, but not technically helping the people. It has to serve the customer in a better way, not adding more burden to them. That's something that you have to keep in mind. What value addition they're giving to the customer.
You mentioned that this also goes to other areas in India. What other areas are similar to that?
Yes, it does. Not just, let's take logistics. So the government is trying to build YNDC. It's more like a platform, more like Amazon or any other platform where you sell and buy things seamlessly. Um, you know, it's completely not very close to financial. The YNDC is a platform and they're testing it, piloting it right now. They launched it in a couple of places as well. It's not very familiarized with everyone. That's in when it comes to like a marketplace. And every piece, the what government is trying to do is taking every piece into digital. um, you know Even let's say you have your driving license, Aadhaar, voter IDs, all these things. You don't have to carry a digital document, I mean physical document right now. Everything is digital. You have a DigiLocker, which is again government feature. You put it in your DigiLocker. Wherever you go, you can use the DigiLocker. So it's not just in fintech. You go to healthcare, yes, they are moving everything digitally, right from the vaccination to your medical record. Everything is digital now. We don't have a vaccination card or anything like that. It's all digital. It's everything is linked to your Aadhaar card. As long as you have the Aadhaar linked to it, you enter your Aadhaar card, you will pull all other details when it comes to that.
Yeah. Well, I don't really want to get into politics, but this is really at the end of the day, it's in different countries, politics drives everything, and it's about like, is it controlled by the government or is it more privately controlled or market controlled? Is it how does the government see my data versus how much privacy I have? So there is a lot of things related to that, and that's also the other side of the coin in North America, that people are very kind of worried about the privacy and worried about the government watching them and stuff like that. So so that's
It's pretty common everywhere. It's always there. Yeah.
so was that a concern in the financial industry when India started doing this?
Yes, it is a concern. When you have access to such information digitally, yes, it is a concern that how it is, like I said, how it is handled and who has access, who can see it. And not everyone, like you said, not every organization is ethical. There are always uh, some outliers, some players is going to misuse the data. um, there are a lot of, there's new bill passed in recently as well in order to protect, data protection bills. So every 6 months you see a couple of new bills coming up to protect the data. And you see RBI giving very strict circulars and rules about how you can handle it. you know as just give an example, you cannot get any customer Aadhaar card without masking the 8 digit. It's a 12 digit Aadhaar number, but when you get a KYC from the customer, you have to mask the first 8 digit as soon as you get it. So those are the things we have built in our application, because that's how it should be handled, and that's how anyone or any organization should handle. And when they build their system or use any system, these are the mandatory things which any system should have when you do all these things. But like you said, yes, it is definitely a concern. Recently, government has put up lot of rules around the credit report that we pull for any customer. Government has said if you are reporting anything about their credit, body or anything, you have to let the customer know. This is what I'm reporting to the credit bureau. You have to report the same thing to the customer, and how customer has rights to get the credit report, from the credit bureau every once in a year, things like that. So yes, it is a concern, but we have to do our best to work with it and do our best to take it to the next level in a better way. Yeah.
And having it not controlled by the government doesn't mean it's going to work better. Like Equifax is one of the three big credit bureaus in North America, and they had a huge breach of security a few years ago, where millions and millions of credit information records were exposed. So, it's not a bad thing that the government control that. So, but there is still like people on different sides of politics range.
It actually doesn't matter which, whether it's government controlled or not. If you have anything in online, it is exposed, it has the vulnerability of getting breached. You can use the latest technologies to protect it as much as you can and follow the best practice to protect it. But regardless of who controls it, who has it, um, it has the vulnerability of the breach. Yeah, you need to follow the best practice to protect it.
Mhm. Tell me a bit more about your growth because you grew up very fast. You mentioned earlier, in a few years, you grew to more than 30 branches in 3 states. How did you handle that? And did technology also help you with this growth?
Yes. So, like I said, 2016 is when like we decided, okay, we're going to take this one bigger. But um, the actual growth happened after 2000, after the COVID. So we
Mm,
were like 2-3 million dollar. We call asset under management AUM company in 2021 in the 2000 mid of 21. So from that we have a total asset under manage of like 130 crores, which is roughly about like 40 million dollars, I would say.
mhm,
So $2 million to like that's a bigger growth. And that's the same time 2020 is the same time when we decided, okay, we are going to build our own technology stack in house.
mm,
That the both the decision taken at the same time when we decided, we had like 10 branches in 2021 and now we have 35 branches. There is no way that I can see of having this growth without a technology, or I have to hire probably like 10,000 people, which my opex would take a thousand because of the
So technology really helped you with scaling. That's
yes,
the bottom
yes.
line,
Both
right?
the decision we
Mhm.
took it at the same time. At the same time. This okay. If we have to grow this much, there's only one way out. You need to have a good technology piece. You need to increase your operational excellence. You need to have a very less stat and more efficient way of doing this. Okay, what is the bottleneck? Of course, the bottleneck is these are the things, and we looked out in the market and we decide, okay, yes. So the technology is the most important thing for the growth.
So, would you have any recommendations for other companies similar to you, or maybe not similar, but they want to grow and scale? What would be the things to look for?
So the one thing is, which is very unique to Velicham, is if you look at Indian NBFC market, my portfolio. I'm not a very bigger player in India. There's so many bigger players with like $1 billion portfolio, or we call it like more than 1,000 crores, in, which
One
is more
day,
than.
I'm looking at your future, and one day you will be, I'm sure.
Definitely, that's where we are heading. But for me to have like 130 crore, AUM, you don't see a lot of NBFCs with my size to have a own LOIs and LMS, because it's very very rare to see that. That's what I would suggest them. Having your own technology, having your own mobile application or software would help you a lot, because every NBFC is very very unique to their process. I'm very unique how
Mm,
I handle application, how I approve application, or I even process it and dispose it. So
mm,
it is. I've looked around in the market. There's not a lot of product where you can tailor make it completely to your process. And I do believe this. Business should dictate the technology, not the other way around. If you have the requirement, you should have the
ah,
technologies supporting that.
yeah.
So find a right technology that helps you to follow the business operation that you want to follow. And if you can put in the money to build your own software, that would be wonderful, because you have a huge competitive advantage, because anytime you can tweak it, you can tailor make it to your need. That's probably the one thing I would tell anyone if they want to scale up to a bigger level. That's a huge advantage and
Yeah.
huge thing for them. Yeah.
So a few points there. The first one is that before you scale, you start with things that works for you, but it's not necessarily something that you spend a lot of money on building up because you
Mhm.
still have to figure out how to do the business and you still have to figure out the product and service market fit. But then when you want to scale, then invest in that specific product that will actually fit your business rather than you fit the product, and
Mhm.
if you can
Yeah.
find one, then build one. That's
Yes,
basically what you're saying,
and
right?
of course, yes, and of course, the team is important. When you grow, you need the team member to support the scale. Let's take, you have a elementary school. If you decided to start a college, you can't have the same teachers or professors to school the higher education kids. So you need to hire new professors. If you want to have a university, you need to hire PhD professors. Same thing
Right,
applies here. If you want to scale
right.
up, you need that skill set people to handle that. And one more thing is what I've seen in the industry is forcing the technology to your customer. That would not help. Any piece or any operation, development you bring in, that should help them in some way. Just to state an example, I've seen like so many business going all in when it comes to technology, but not technically helping the people. I used to, just to state, I used to use a application where I used to do the bookings of some events, things like that. They usually
Hmm.
send me an email right after I booked the tickets and I download it. I've seen everyone going to application. Now I book it, I have to download their application and download my ticket through their application. So it has to serve the customer in a better way, not adding more burden to them. So that's
Yeah,
something that you
yeah.
have to keep in mind, what value addition that you are getting, giving to the customer, and try to take up the burden on your shoulder, not to the customer. Yeah.
Right. I love that point because, coming from software development and product management myself, I always try to see, can I make it self-serve? So I will not need an army of people entering data, but I have each one of the users enter their own data or something like that. But the end user might not be the right person that will be able to enter this type of data, and maybe I do need to help them. So it's really about understanding your users and their personas and what they're available. And you mentioned earlier that many of them still don't have access to mobile phones or the internet, so you can't really ask them to download another app if they don't have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
But this, you also mentioned, is moving forward and it is growing, that now more and more and more people have access to the internet and have access to mobile.
Mhm.
So what's your kind of like innovation plans in the future to help your clients once they start having these type of tools?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. Yes, like I said, the segment we serve is not very well penetrated when it comes to technology, but it's been wonderful in the last 2 years or 1 year. There's more and more people getting access to the internet, more and more people getting access to the smartphone. That being said, we are in process of developing a customer application where customer can um, you know um, get in touch with Velicham through their mobile app, or request a loan, or fill out everything in their mobile app and give a request, and I can take the process from there. But speaking with that in mind, we also have a assisted journey. What we have right now, what we have built right now, is actually assisted journey. Like I said, if we send my I send my team member to the customer house, and everything
Hmm.
is filled in the mobile app by my team member. If they can't do it, I will do it for themselves. If they can do it, well, good enough. Then the idea is to give them the mobile app. And
Right.
later, the vision is to have like a complete tech stack, not just for the customer segment. I want Velicham to be like a marketplace where multiple investors, multiple bigger NFCs can connect to Velicham to find the right customer, where customer can connect to Velicham to find a lender. So I want to connect where the fund is available. I want to connect the fund to the customer throughout the India. That's the idea. That's a goal that we've been working on. That's the trajectory that we have been developing all the things one by one. We have done API integrations with bigger funders to the system already. And we are in process of developing the customer facing app as well. So soon we'll
Mm-hmm.
have a complete marketplace where both the stakeholders can connect using my technology.
Oh, interesting. So tell me a bit about more. Is it going to be open for anyone in India, or just in India, or also outside of India? Will I be able to be part of that?
Right now, presently, it's going to be within India, considering or taking all the legal things, and our expertise also works around within the India. So yes, it's going to be within India. Like I said, yes, any financial institution within India can get and connect with Velicham and have a partnership to serve all the Velicham customers. And yes, the future in future, anyone in India, anyone who needs credit access would be able to get loans through Velicham. That's the vision. That's where we are working towards.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's a great model, because what I'm seeing over there is like you're becoming a partner to other financial institutions that might not have access to those type of clients, or may decide, you know what, you already know how to do that. Let's Velicham do that, and we
yeah,
just deal with the money and getting more clients through that.
correct.
Yeah, I love that, and there might be some network effect over there with this strategy, right? Like the more people are there, the more loans and the more funds are going to move through.
Yes, correct. The even with this market segment, there's a lot of customer who's still not able to get access to the loans. So even if there is like 1,000 more NBFCs, let's say in the next 3 months there are going to be 1,000 more NBFCs. There are enough and more customer in India to give
Yeah,
loans. Or let's not just in the fintech, we have a market, huge market here. So any company or any industries, there's scope for everyone. There's always a customer for everyone. Finding a customer in India is not never a problem. The population of India, it's not the market, it's how well you can serve the market, how well you can take your product in a way that you serve the good product. That it's all about that.
yeah.
um, there's no no issues in terms of finding a market in India.
So how do your clients usually hear about you?
So yeah, when it comes to customer, it's all face to face. We go to their businesses or house, approach them, see if there is any need for credit. That's one way.
Mm,
Some we also do some advertisement around the area that we serve. So they approach us, call us, email us, or sometimes I get the pop ups. They'll pop up to our website and enter their details. There are a lot of references. They call all my we call them credit customer relationship officer.
mm,
We call them CROs. So they
mhm.
get the call message. So that's usually by word of mouth, and small advertisements around. That's how I get my customer segment. When it comes to
Right.
my funders, it's a very small industry. You can, if you work in the industry for a couple of years, you probably know 80-90% of the player in India. So we attend a lot of conferences, things like that, and usually there's you can make a list of like 200, 300 funders India who does this. And they have a lot of criteria. We constantly email them, approach them, and we also have mediators for us as well. Debt syndicators who has connection with all the funders, who connect you with the right
Mm,
fund and right type of business correspondent that you're looking for. So that's those two are the main way. But after a point, once you have good customer base, when you have a good team and you have a very good track record,
yeah.
it is all about the word of mouth. They'll ask around about other other organization, and that's how it spreads.
Yeah, yeah. Now, do you also offer your clients like other advice other than financial service? Meaning, like almost like becoming a small VC, like helping them with other needs that they have, or it's just to the financial help?
Most of our service is just financial. We do
Mm.
insurance for the customer who takes loan from us. We do their life insurance,
Okay.
not
Hmm.
to cover the loan as well. But apart from that, mostly we've too focused on financial services.
Right, right. I mean, that could be an interesting area there if you ever venture to something like that, because through your app and through your network and through your, knowledge about business in general, you might be able also to help them with things like, small advisors for small entrepreneurs.
Cross selling is a good idea. A lot of people
Mhm.
does cross selling in NBFCs. A lot of NBFCs does cross selling. They sell products, small products, household products. They sell insurance. A
Right.
lot of other things, because they have the customer. But philosophically, we decided not to do that. We wanted to be too focused, and we have a team who works on getting the customer. We also want them to be focused on just this. There's two aspects. One is lending, but
Hmm.
getting the money back is other major thing. You need to get your money back. Please,
Of
again, I'm
course.
giving percentage of your money.
Of
So
course.
it's, that's important thing. Maybe we didn't talk a lot about it so far, but in
Well,
order
we
to,
kind of, yeah, you're right. I mean, we always assume that, yes, we're going to get the money back, but there are some people that are in default or late or whatever it is, right?
yeah, it's 7 days work to dispose the money. It's another 1 or 2 years work to get the money back.
So, how does
So
technology help you there?
yes, definitely. Like I said, Natch is another thing which NPCA came up, which is like, it's like a subscription model. They'll register Natch once, and every month, whatever is the EMI amount, I'll take it from their bank account. And again, with UPI, they can make the payment anytime to my account. There's no charges involved. If they're making a card transaction, there's 1% charge involved, which they are paying above their EMI, which more or less like an additional 1% interest on their loan. With UPI, there is no charges involved. That's why I said the UPI is free. So the customer makes the payment using UPI, using Natch, using the BPPS. BPPS is like Bharat Bill Pay System. So you can just go there and you'll see your dues and you pay them. It's just in a matter of second you get the links, payment details, and everything. So more than the disbursement side, collection side has been completely seamless right now. And when you handle a lot of cash, let's say you send someone to collect the cash, there's a lot of risk involved, right from robbery to stealing and everything. So that has been significantly reduced with this technology. If someone, let's if if you don't have the digital entry made immediately, you don't even know whether the money is collected or not. With this you have complete visibility of what's happening in the field, right from starting the application, from collecting the money. So that's tremendous change which happened right after what we build our own software. Yeah, and we started from cross selling to collection. So why we don't involve in cross selling is I want the team to be focused on this side of the business, giving the money and collecting the money. We have, let's say I cross sell, I can cross sell any products. I can sell TV to the same customer or headphones to the same customer. But imagine a situation: you sell a TV and the TV is defective because the manufacturer didn't, something happens. You also gave them the money. There's a risk of you not getting the money back because hey, fix my TV and get the money back, because you are the one. So we are in the business of selling risk. So why would you increase your risk with selling other? Like we have to be stay focused on this one business. It's a good avenue for getting some additional revenues, but not at the cost of your core business. So we kind of stayed away from that. But yeah, if you want to talk more about collection side of it, I'm happy to.
Yeah, I mean, it's really part of the business for sure. But you definitely explained over there how the technology helps with reducing the risk for everyone, and
Mhm.
also getting automated and cheaper way to transfer funds back into the lender. So
Mhm.
that's definitely, so there is
Yeah.
definitely a ton of advantages in using the technology on top of the India stack, both to the company and to the customers. And we touched on, being immediate, being able to scale, reducing efforts, reducing the time that they get it, being transparent in the organization so you know exactly where it is, saving on costs, unnecessary cost. Is there anything I forgot there on advantages?
Yeah. Escaping from the scams. That's one
Right,
of the main
right,
advantage. Yeah.
yes,
Very,
yes.
it's very common in the industries.
Mm.
You see different creative things, creative ways, both ways.
Both ways,
Uh,
exactly.
both
Hmm.
ways. Yeah. So yeah, that's a huge helpful place where think that technology is helping everyone.
Yeah, perfect. And then you already mentioned some of your plans for the future. Um, any other things you want to share with us about the future of where Velicham is going?
Apart from the technology side, we are going to expand to other states. We are going to expand to three more states soon. and we have been talking to a couple of other bigger players to add some stacks. Like I said, right now we have a maximum loan size of 5 lakhs. We are expanding, we are increasing that to 15 lakhs. We've been piloting that,
Hmm.
which is a secured product. Any loans above 5 lakhs is going to be a secured product. We call them mortgage MOD loans. So that's something we are piloting right now. Soon we have to make some tweaks and additional changes in the system to accommodate that. So that work has been going on. So that's something we will be launching soon, once we done with the pilot stage.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, so you're talking about using technology to prevent scam, both to you as an organization and to your clients. But it also goes to like, how do you control internal, bad apples if you might have and stuff like that. So, is that also part of it?
Yes, of course. This, when you have a huge employee base of like, 200, 300 plus for Velicham, it is 200, close to that. But, when
And
you take
growing.
bigger, and yeah, and growing. And, but,
Hmm.
let's say, imagine you have like 10,000 or 1,000 people working in your organization. You can't expect everyone to be very ethical, everyone to be,
Hmm.
everyone to follow all the rules. Um, let's take cash collection. Someone collect the cash and they just disappear. I can't say it has happened. It has happened to any and every NBFCs in India. Yeah, when you have to trust a human instinct, human behavior, that's a very common thing. So that's when, let's take, one side of the collection, the other side, to let's take sourcing a customer, a CRO, or anyone. Even the customer can completely fabricate his residence, his KYCs, is all the proof, and get a loan and disappear or migrate to a different cities. Even if you do all these checks, the customer can just get a loan and migrate to a different city or town. That's just a very, very common thing in
Right.
my industry or in my field. So that's a very risky thing to handle as well. So that's where the need a very good technology, and you need a very good monitoring, you need a very good operational, you need a very good process and procedures. Audit
Yeah.
has to be done. Those things are very, very critical in this business. We tell them we basically sell risk, and we have to make profit out of the risk.
Right.
But when it comes to risk, how much you have the plan to mitigate it, and how well you prepared to tackle it, what matters. So
Yeah.
very micro level monitoring is needed in this business. So not just in terms of approving, you need to watch your team very clearly. The you would be surprised to know the attrition or retention rate in my industry. It's pretty high. So yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. No, you're right. And this is all the topics that you mentioned. They are across the industry everywhere. It's not in a certain location because digital is digital. It doesn't have any culture. It doesn't have any color. It doesn't have any language. It's all the language of zeros and ones. And human nature is human nature. So people
Yeah.
will abuse it in different places. So all of these are extremely important. And some of it, as far as I understand, of the India stack is controlled by India stack with KYC, etc. But some of it is has to be controlled through the system that you have developed. Correct?
Yes. Yes. Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much. This was a great discussion, and I definitely love seeing more about what coming out of India in fintech, because I think that this can be really a case study for every country out there. So I'm going to continue watching that. Before we wrap up, do you have any shout out for a product that you really like and we would like everyone else to know about?
Yes, sure. I do have a product. So recently, I'm a frequent traveler. I travel a lot, and recently came across an app called Atlas. ATLY, I guess. ATLYS, Atlas.
Yeah.
So I think they help you get visas, and it's I'm never like I said, the technology that India has built, or the data digital presence has changed the way that it used to take 2 3 weeks, and the whole process took a couple of minutes to get visa for like two more than two countries. So that's something. And other thing is, you probably know the app. There's some app in US and Canada called Lemonade. They do house insurance. Excellent UI. Yes, they have excellent UI. I'm big when we were building my application with rootquotient. Lemonade is something that I always kept in mind when it comes to UI, and it's so simple to finish up a house insurance. The way the app is built around. So those two apps I really like. Yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. So that's a great shout out to both of them. Who knows? Maybe we'll find someone from those companies that will want to come to the podcast and also talk with us about their experience, right? That will
yeah.
be uh, that will be awesome to learn. Thank you so much, Raul. Where can people reach out to you if they want to learn more?
They can reach out to me to my email. It's Rahul at velichamfinance.com.
Hmm.
Or they can reach out to me in LinkedIn. It's Rahul Nagarajan. I'm happy to talk to them. If they need anything, I'm happy to help. And yeah, pleasure.
Very cool. Very cool. So thank you so much again, Raul, for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
I hope,
Especially, it's a great time
yeah,
talking.
I wish.
Thanks.
Absolutely. And I wish you and the entire team at Velicham, your father and the entire team, to lots of success and growth, and we'll follow up on you. Thank you everyone for listening today to the Beyond Product podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please tell your friends, reach out to us, give us any feedback about the podcast. We love to hear about it. And we'll see you again next time. Take care, everyone.